You may be wondering why I look a little bit like a Bond villain today. Well, this is Brandy. She is a cross between a Jack Russell and a Chihuahua, and we adopted her from Bath Cats and Dogs Home in 2011. Now, it's summer, which means that maybe you might have retired, maybe you're spending some time on summer holiday, maybe you're getting ready to send your children off to university, and you may be considering also that it's time to get a pet. The first thing to say is, whilst pets are absolutely wonderful, cats, dogs, gerbils, whatever it is you might like to get, they are also another source of responsibility. So do think very, very carefully. And that's why I thought I'd talk a little bit about pets today. I said now I adopted her. You can also get puppies. I would always advocate adoption. That's my personal choice. But the one thing that I would say with adoption is you may have to spend a little bit of extra time when it comes to training. Now, all animals do like a sense of routine because it makes them feel secure. Dogs in particular have evolved to adapt very well to the pack. So that does mean a slight change of routine isn't too bad for them, but once they get used to something, it's great to keep that as regular as possible. So do bear that in mind if you're training a dog during the summer and then you go back to work at a later point. But when it comes to Brandy, because she was a rescue dog, she had a number of behaviours that were strategies in order to keep her safe in her past. She sadly had a very poor experience before we had her, and we had to change her name when we got her. And she started doing a lot of behaviours in our home, which were things like grovelling. She would crawl up to you, she wouldn't really know how to play, she didn't have a voice at all, she didn't find her bark for a long time. So sometimes you may need to be a little bit more patient with a rescue dog because they are still trying to get used to not only a new routine but to feeling safe within that house. So be aware of that. Other routines that dogs and cats and all animals need, certainly with dogs, will be a toileting routine. You do need to walk your dog, exercising is important, you do need to take the dog out. And also with all animals, you may need to take them to the vet as well as do things like have them insured. Now, Brandy has regular vet visits for things like checking her teeth because she's getting quite old now, and also clipping her nails and her regular booster jabs. She also needs to be defleed and dewormed every 3 months. So again, those things are a small but extra cost. You may need to consider what to do with your pets when you yourself want to go on holiday. Now, there are certainly a lot of dog-friendly places, but it may be worth thinking about what you're going to do, because I don't like to put Brandy in kennels. That's my choice. I prefer to put her in a dog hotel or to have her stay with somebody in their home. I just don't want to return her to the kennel environment at all. But again, that costs money too. So it's not just a case of putting in the time to train to get pets adapted to a routine, but it is also financially a commitment, and be aware of that. However, if you do decide to get a pet, they are the most wonderful forms of companions. They get us out. They might get you talking to people. I certainly meet a lot of dog walkers. I sometimes exercise with Brandy. I jog, I cycle with her. We go on outings together. And that's a really nice thing to do. Also, when I stroke her, I get that release of oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone, makes me feel happy. And just that sense of haptics, that sense of touch is really very pleasant. And that's, again, something which can add so much enjoyment to a day. So do think very carefully before you commit to buying a pet. They are a commitment, but the benefits are huge if you decide to go for it. But weigh up and be mindful of your time in order to put in the responsibility and also the financial cost. Otherwise, have an amazing time with your pet.